We want to start with this story out of Notre Dame because I'm a lot of things, but mainly when it comes to powerful people telling the truth, I'm a bit of a skeptic. I think you guys know that. We've talked about it on the show repeatedly. Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director at Notre Dame, is one of the most powerful guys in college sports. He said today that the colleges need to collectively bargain with players, the athletes that attend their universities. They don't currently have a mechanism in place to do that. Jack Swarbrick just said the players, essentially, the way I read it, and I'm going to show you the quote in a minute, Jack Swarbrick essentially just said the players have every right to make more money. They deserve to make more money. But, Jake, how can we not sit here and say that Jack Swarbrick just damaged any chance the NCAA has of being credible when they say that student athletes are not employees?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the tough part is like the NCAA as a body is seemingly taking hit after hit here, right? Like when you think about, just where we were even 5 years ago to where we are now, I think we're clearly moving in the direction of student athletes, being treated like employees when it comes to athletics. And I think that it's a necessary step. There's too much money in the marketplace. And so when we talk about, the NCAA seemingly trying to help its reputation in terms of, hey, we care about our student athletes, but no, they shouldn't be treated like employees. Like, that's the trouble that they're going to have. And when, a guy like Jack says those things, as a guy who's in the position that he's in, it has a lot of weight. And the problem is I don't think he's wrong. I don't think that most people think he's wrong. I think the bigger issue for the NCAA is that the masses agree with Jack and they don't. They want to find any way possible to continue the cool kids club, as I say, the group of guys that run the NCAA, that make all the money and continue to take as much money out of the kids' pocket as possible.
Is that really what it is? Because I think this is a really important conversation. It is foundational, how much money and how you pay these players. Here's a quote from Jack Swarbrick. He was talking to Ross Dellinger at Yahoo Sports. No shocker, Ross Dellinger leading the news cycle. Quote, "We don't have a mechanism to collectively bargain without them becoming employees. It would require a new mechanism that would recognize the rights of student athletes to negotiate for the terms and conditions of their participation as athletes without being employees. I think it's worth considering." And read that second sentence again. It would require a new mechanism that would recognize the rights of student athletes to negotiate for the terms and conditions of their participation as athletes without being employees. And I think it is a stunning revelation from one of the most powerful people in all of college sports, Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director at Notre Dame, to talk about openly, which is not common, to talk openly about the fact that these athletes deserve rights, they deserve more money, and they deserve the ability to negotiate for that. I mean, call them employees if you want, and I've told you from the jump, I don't believe they're employees. I don't think they should be designated as employees. I think what these student athletes deserve is exactly what Jack Swarbrick's talking about. A seat at the table to have real conversations to secure their futures. That, to me, is the biggest part of this, because it's all well and good that you make NIL money. But if you're, in football, if you're doing brain damage to yourself that is everlasting, you need long-term health benefits. If you blew up your shoulder or broke your leg or blew out your knee, you need long-term health insurance. You need to make sure that injury is you recovered from that injury to 100%. You need to make sure that if you have an athletic future at the professional level, that the University of Notre Dame, in this case, is paying for an insurance policy. You need to make sure that the powers that be in the NCAA are not reaching into your pocket and taking your NIL money. That's what this is. It's not, hey, make them employees. It's give them a chance to negotiate. And if they don't like the terms that are being dictated by the NCAA or the university, they should be able to walk away and say, we're not going to play until you come to the table and meet our terms. I think that's what this is about, the ability to fight for what's best for these kids. And I don't mean to sit here on a soapbox and rail against the NCAA, but how many times are we going to have a conversation where the kid comes last? This, whether it's North Carolina or any of these other eligibility arguments. Well, a kid transferred twice. We can't have that. How come? Why not? Why not? Why can't a kid transfer 4 times if he wants to? I just don't understand how you have all of these billions of dollars being thrown around and being made and earned by their athletic endeavors on the field, and they have no access to that money.
Yeah.
I believe they should have the ability to sit at the table and negotiate their money. That's what, and the shocking thing is, when you look at what Swarbrick is saying here, he is saying, no, they shouldn't be employees. And I 100% agree with him. And this is the first time I have heard this. And Gene Smith at Ohio State did say something earlier. It was not this groundbreaking. It was not this shocking. To say that these kids need to have the ability to bargain with their universities without being categorized as employees is remarkable. It's remarkable. And I think it's long overdue. Am I making too much out of it?
I don't think you're making too much out of it. I think in business, it's just something we haven't seen. Like, if you take away the college factor for a second, and you just treat this like, hey, like this is a body of, for lack of a better term, employees. They're not employees, but we'll just use that term. It's a body of people doing work for their company, but they don't have the ability to stipulate how much they get paid or their health benefits or like any of these typical conversations that, you know, whether it's just a regular individual employee or unions or whatever you want to look at, are able to stipulate. And so the problem is that these kids are not employees in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But as we move forward in college athletics, I think this type of aggressive thinking and more outside the box thinking has to continue to happen, because again, just like with expansion and realignment, I'm going to say it again. We've not seen this in college athletics. We've not been in a place where, you know, NIL, the structure of NIL as it currently exists is in existence. We've never had this before. So when you get new things, sometimes you have to think outside of the box because there's new situations and new discussions and conversations presented. And so I look at you know, in reading about this, like a great example of, you know, the players, the student athletes, you know, negotiating with who? Are they negotiating with their conference? Are they negotiating with their school?
No,
It's
at the university level. And I think that's.
But when you think about collective bargaining, one of the things that a lot of people are talking about is like, just an easy example is, hey, like, how many games are we going to play? Like, you know, based on the number of games, that's obviously going to affect how much, you know, things like insurance would cost, or like how, you know, percentages of pay that you would get. Like,
sure. I agree. A university needs to understand its fixed costs. I totally understand that. But this is going to trickle up the ladder. It's going to start at the university level because they're going to want to be able to leverage the benefits that they provide in recruiting. There's no question about that.
Sure.
I think it's going to trickle up from the university to the conference and eventually to the NCAA because, again, this is quite literally a crisis of existence for the NCAA because people are going to go after their status as the behemoth in college athletics. And I think they should. I mean, we're seeing this with all this realignment that we just came through that's going to happen again. I think the NCAA is becoming less and less relevant in those situations. And I think when you look at somebody like Notre Dame's got all the money they need to do whatever it is they want to do. They don't have to do what the NCAA tells them to do. They don't have to do what any other university tells them to do. And frankly, their football program's independent. So what do they care what the ACC is doing in basketball? I don't think they do. And I think it starts at the university level, and I think it's going to trickle its way up because there's no way that you are going to have one university in a conference that's doing it better and more effectively, because we've seen what a disaster NIL has been in that regard, right? So I don't think you're going to see that happen. I think we are learning and growing and evolving, and I think you're going to see this start at the university level. I think it's going to trickle up to the conference level, and then at some point it's going to get all the way up to the NCAA or whatever the governing body of college sports ends up being in a decade. And I think that's where you're going to get real finality. It takes somebody the ilk of Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director at Notre Dame, who I would point out to you is retiring in 2024. And he's speaking loudly about this. Gene Smith, the athletic director at Ohio State, is speaking loudly about this. He's also retiring next year. Like, you're starting to see the guys who are coming to the end of their careers speaking truth and speaking loudly and making it pretty clear that, hey, we're not going to put up with this. We're not going to tolerate this.
Yeah.
This is because it's simply not fair. It is not fair to the college athlete. You look at some of the TV numbers that we had this week. Like, you're looking at Colorado having double the TV viewership, making, I mean, look at all the money that those viewers bring in. Are you telling me that Shedeur Sanders shouldn't have an equity stake?
Well, I think there's that. I think there's the core idea that, without the college football player, you don't have a product to talk to ESPN about. I mean, it's just that simple. And so, yeah, there's a conversation around, like, well, what are we going to do about the idea that Caleb Williams clearly deserves to make more money than someone else? Or, like, that's
a really interesting point with Caleb, because I think it might have been Cowherd. Somebody brought up last week, why shouldn't Caleb Williams be able to get a bonus from USC if he wins the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah, he should.
Why shouldn't they be able to cut him a check for $250,000 for winning the Heisman Trophy?
I think the concept of this whole game that's been played for decades, all the way back to the infamous, Pete Carroll, Reggie Bush, speaking of USC, right? All the way, like, all the recruiting violations that just surround money. Why are we so scared to just be like, yeah, hey, you're really good at football, then you play at USC and you won a Heisman as a running back? Cool. Here's a bonus. Hey,
you do it with coaches.
Yeah.
You do it with athletic directors and presidents.
But we don't want to do it with players?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. And I think that it's difficult, because it almost seems like because these kids go to school, that somehow changes the concept of, hey, they're athletes for you. They're doing everything you ask them to do. I mean, a big part of me feels like, we should be treating, like, their education is truly a second full-time job in addition to athletics. Like, yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, in a football player, football is their first job. Making sure they stay eligible is their second job.
Yes.
That's
correct.
The truth of it. That's the real world, how we perceive education as athletes perspective. And so the idea that for the athlete, that's the perspective, but then for the big boys who rake in all the cash, the perspective is, oh, you're a student, so yeah, we'll provide you books and pencils and stuff, but yeah, that Lambo money, you're not touching that. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I also think the education is part of this, because I don't believe that, and I know this is super controversial and I'm not trying to be that, I don't believe that they should have to pay for their education. I think a lot of people, and I've heard it time and time again, well, now they're making all this NIL money, they should have to pay for their school. Why? Is the school not making money on the kid? So let me get this right. Because the kid is making money, he should have to pay for his education. But he's making money because he's performing at a very high level. And again, Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders, whoever you want to point to.
Right.
You're making really big money because you're performing at a really big level. Why should the university save money on your scholarship then? What's the justification for that? You're punishing a kid for achieving at a high level. That's what you're saying.
And then we're going to sit here and say that the U.S. is we're all about capitalism. We're not all about capitalism. Man. We're about capitalism when it's convenient. And I think that's the hard part is like we're all so selfish and trying to make as much money as we possibly can for the individual that we miss the concept of, hey, if we were to cut them in on the profits, how like CMC all those years ago probably plays in the bowl game, right? Maybe these guys are more incentivized to stay at college. Caleb Williams. Oh my God, Caleb Williams said he's only going to play for a specific cut of team. And by the way, he wants an ownership stake in the team that drafts him. This cat does not care what you think about the rules. He is making his own rules. And I think it's guys like him who are going to come along more often now because they're seeing, hey, well, the conversation's being had. So if we don't say it, who's going to say it? So I think whether you're Jack or you're Charlie Baker or you're Caleb Williams, we got to get this money thing smoothed out because they should be making the money. And we shouldn't vilify them for wanting to make the money. That's the whole point. I mean, is the whole point of them playing and trying to win Heisman's not so they can get to the league? I mean, isn't that what you're trying to do for like 99% of players? You're trying to get to the league.
And I don't know why there is this appetite to put a cap on what a kid can earn. I've never understood it. I don't know probably that I'll ever understand it.
I mean, it's almost like people in the NCAA are it's like, oh man, if this kid makes so much, then X is going to have, like, there is no X.
Yeah.
You just don't want him to make the money. So the pot's bigger. And that's the problem. We can't have that.
Yeah, it's wild. Let's get your comments in here. As always, presented by Bucked Up, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. Is Bucked Up Energy, you guys? So many people were like, oh, Monty, look at that Texas Tech shaker you got. Please. It is any color you want. This just happens to be the one I ordered.
Oh, man, look at that in the Wisconsin cup, man.
Hey, man, that Utah cup is really nice. Can you break me off a piece? I can't actually get it free. It is the best shaker. I was thinking about it this morning. I had a big chest workout this morning. Today was a push day for me. And while I was drinking my Bucked Up racked BCAAs with my 6-point creatine in there, I was shaking it up, and I was so thankful that the top doesn't just plop open. Like, you have to work to open the top of this thing so you can shake it. Like, I just love it. It's the best shaker in the business, you guys. Go get it for free in the description below. Get the shaker and 3 samples of your choice. Again, I think it's like 11 different pre-workouts from Bucked Up. They have all kinds of pre-workouts, high stim with a lot of caffeine or stimulant in it, 0 stim. You name it, they've got it. If you're a super early morning guy and you have trouble getting out of bed, Bucked Up's got a really strong pre-workout for you. And hey, maybe you just need protein and you want to mix up a protein shake. Hook it up. It's all right there in the link below. They want to send it to your door for free. Get the best shaker in the business with 3 free samples from Bucked Up. Bucked Up Energy, the official energy provider of the Monty Show. And if you'd like to get one of their, I think their creatine's the best. I've used a lot of different creatines. The 6-point creatine from Bucked Up is the best one I've ever used. And why I say that, I don't feel like I'm retaining water. I hate when you take crappy supplements and you wind up retaining a bunch of water. That drives me crazy. I don't feel that way because Bucked Up uses the best ingredients to make the best products that do exactly what they say they're going to do, which is why every day at this time we hit a Bucked Up buckshots. 200 milligrams of caffeine, bunch of brain food. This is going to get you through the day. It's clean, long-lasting energy so you can finish your day strong, or maybe you need to start your day strong, whatever it is. Cheers to you, my friends. Ah, yes, that watermelon just hits different. I don't know why I thought that was going to be blue raz today. No, watermelon. I love it. Yeah. Hook it up, buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty. All right. Let's get your comments in here. How the heck are you? You guys doing a great job on the show already. We have over 300 comments. Make sure you hit the like button. Please give us a thumbs up. It helps the channel grow. Let's see. I see all the Notre Dame hate in the comments. All the way back to the top. The Buffalo Hunter. First one in, he says, I finally did it.
Holy cow,
I love on this show that every day there's a competition to be the first comment. J-Rod says this should be interesting. Notre Dame, our mother.
Notre Dame, our mother.
I love Notre Dame, our mother. But Jack Swarbrick is trying to change the game on his way out the door. It's wild that he said this. Dakota Tubb said, damn, third today.
Yeah, you got beat, dude.
Lopes fan Gabe says, like button casuals. Notre Dame controversy? Who knew? Conundrum says. Hey, man, I think Notre Dame, how influential is Notre Dame, do you think?
Oh, I think with expansion and realignment, they're very influential. I think that, the only issue or potential adversity Notre Dame as an institution would go through with athletics is scheduling getting a little bit limited for an independent based on conference expansion. But I don't think we're going to see that for at least 10 years. And that might be selling it short. It may be longer than that. And I think, Notre Dame, when they're good, man, and even when they're not good, but more so when they're good on the football field, they have power. And it's because they're an independent. And in football, obviously, all their other stuff is ACC. But in football, as an independent, if you're that team, you're college football playoff good, and you don't have some allegiance to a conference, it's just a secret sauce when you walk into a room like, hey, Tony Petiti, Greg Sankey, I love you, Brett. Hey, what was GK? Yeah, hey, guys, we're over here. We're raking in $70 million a year, right? Like, there's something about it.
If Jack Swarbrick calls you, you're going to answer the phone.
Hell yeah, you are.
Right?
Yes.
Old Greg says, fourth, boo-hoo, let's go, Monty Showgrim. Hey, fourth is better than none. Maury Alvarez, our great Floridian. How the heck are you? Pretty sure first in only counts if you put the like alongside it. That's what I'm saying.
That's facts.
That is what I'm saying. Kevin the Destroyer, damn Buffalo Hunter, I got sidetracked at work. Look at you guys competing.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to review the tape and see what adjustments you can make because, you got beat today.
You got to be better than that.
Yeah.
You got to be first in.
Yeah.
Big Blue Horses, Notre Dame gets preferential treatment. It's old. They get preferential treatment.
Dude, we're going to talk about preferential treatment today.
How are they getting preferential treatment? Do you think Notre Dame gets preferential treatment?
I mean, I don't know that they get preferential treatment, but I think they're relevant and they're in the conversation. So if you want to call that special treatment, you want to call that whatever, then fine. But again, it's the independent factor. I still maintain, dude, if you're a one-loss or an undefeated independent, you are going to be in the playoff. It's going to happen.
I would agree.
And yes, Notre Dame has a lovely track record of getting absolutely pummeled in the college football playoff.
It's piped, please.
Piped, excuse me. But at least they've made appearances. And I think that's really important.
I love it. Shaner, what's up? Shaner's been a member for 2 months.
Go, baby.
Let's go. Love it. Love it. Love it. We are so close to breaking our all-time record for membership. So if you're not a member, consider hitting the join button for $1.99 a month. You get all your comments highlighted in red. By the way, for $9.99 a month, you also get into our members-only Instagram group, which is really interesting right now because it gets you 25-1 entries in our Las Vegas Raiders drive-away presented by Sound Sleep Medical. This is such a good promotion, and a lot of people have been asking me questions about the promotion. Here's how it works. It's very easy. All you have to do to qualify to win is go to soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. Sign up for their at-home sleep special or study, excuse me. And what they're going to do is they're going to give you a ring and they're going to monitor your sleep. You're going to come back in and they're going to talk to you about what that sleep study said. Hey, yeah, you snore a lot. Yeah, you have sleep apnea. Hey, you want to try this or you need to do that. Pretty simple. You don't have to sleep in their facility. You take it at home. Super easy. Soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. And I cannot say enough about what the folks at Sound Sleep Medical are doing for Monty Show viewers. You guys, it has been nothing short of a revelation what they have done. And the way that they are changing sleep apnea treatments is simply remarkable.
Treat snoring and sleep apnea with no masks and no tubes. Just better, healthier sleep with Sound Sleep Medical. Use code MONTY, M-O-N-T-Y, to schedule a free sleep assessment today.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And I love the fact that we're able to talk about things like snoring because I know it's embarrassing. But you guys, you look at that oral appliance, the mouthpiece that you put in, There are no tubes, no machines. It's super easy to travel. And it's going to bring you and your wife or your spouse closer together because you can sleep in the same room again, can sleep in the same bed again. Hook it up, soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. And if you are a member of the show and you schedule your free sleep assessment, you get 25 to 1 entries. You have to be in our Instagram group. You have to be a $9.99 subscriber. And hey, if you're not, and you simply go to Sound Sleep Medical, whether you are a member of our show or not, take a screen grab, show us you did it. You're entered to win the contest. And it's a good one. You get 2 tickets to the Raiders game, December 10th against the Vikings. We're going to give you dinner for 2 at Mastro's Ocean Club on Saturday night. We're going to put you up for 2 nights at the Flamingo right on the Strip. And we are working on, I had a good conversation about it today, that little circle new thing that everybody is all excited about. We're trying to get you tickets to that. It is sold out. It's wild. We're trying to get you tickets to that, but we'll send you to a show as well. And you get $100 to drive yourself there. So we're going to pay for your gas money as well. Go to soundsleepmedical.com/Monty. Sign up for your free sleep assessment to get the hookup. All right, let's get more of your comments in here. Kevin the Destroyer. I've always looked up to people that are 6'3". Okay. Well, I'm sorry you are short. It is what it is. Let's see. Hail Mary, full of grace, Notre Dame, sip woo. Okay. I mean, I appreciate
God's
it.
Name, image, and likeness.
Hey, Monty, Tarrant County says, hello. Kyle Wilson, good to see you. Oregon State has won a New Year's Six more recently than Notre Dame. Just saying. Hey, that's fine.
Not playing your games today, Kyle.
Not playing your games today. NBA Commissioner Salty Drunk, live from Australia. Hope Melbourne's treating you well. Jake refuses to undo that top button.
Why would I undo the top button when I don't have my keg of 4X Gold to drink, dude? It's not time to let loose. It's not.
There? How about that? I button the top button. Are we supposed to?
Looking nice, dude.
Are we supposed to button the top button?
I'm a top button guy.
I don't mind it. I don't even notice it. Gary Wolf. Oh, they beat USC. Oh, BFD says more how USC stinks more than Notre Dame is good. Okay.
Notre Dame, our mother.
Okay, that's fine. Laura Weiss. Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Hey, y'all.
Mike Smith. Good to see you. More fun going out, TPing, soaping windows, and a few eggs here and there. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Tarrant County boy says Jakey top button.
That's right.
Here we go. Jim Choi, just got my buckshot in the mail yesterday. Took a buckshot after lunch. This thing gives you a boost. How long does it last?
I'm for real.
The funny thing about that is I don't have an answer for you on it.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing where, every time we talk about buckshot, we talk about how smooth it is, how, the ingredients are top notch. So it's really smooth. You don't get like this big crash. And so the way I think about it is not really how long it lasts, but I like to think of it as it just kind of brings you back up to the level you want to be. And that's all you got to think about. You don't have to worry about some big crash happening.
Yep, totally agree. Buckedup.com. Use the promo code Monty to get 20% off at checkout. Let's see. Lance Johnson for $2. Will there be an NIL cap in Swarbrick's plan? Why would you want an NIL cap?
Yeah, I don't. That doesn't. Yeah.
And I need some help understanding this because this is where I get a little lost. Why is there a need to limit how much money college athletes can make? I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because all we hear about is NIL caps, legislation, restrictions, regulations. I agree there needs to be a way to track who's making what, but there does not need to be a cap on what the Cavender twins make. There doesn't need to be a cap on what Keaton Slovis makes or Cam Rising makes or Tyler Shuck makes.
Nobody was asking for a cap when Utah football rolled out a package that got all their players a truck.
And BYU is supposedly very close to announcing something similar.
Yeah.
So why does there need to be a cap? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Ryan Willie for $20. The reason I don't think Fickle is the answer at Wisconsin. Oh, this is from yesterday. You put the same thing in yesterday. Is they've been a running back heavy offense for 30 plus years. They don't have the talent to air it out. Next year's schedule is scary. I doubt Fickle can bring in the talent. Well, number one, I think we have this beautiful invention called the transfer portal. Number two, I think you have to change stylistically. You cannot run the football and win in college football.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's not the way offenses are built. I think we found that out in the Washington-Oregon game. I think we certainly found that out in the USC-Notre Dame game, right? I mean, those were two offensive showings. You look at what Dion and Shador are doing at Colorado, or you look at the best offenses in the country. It's very difficult if you are, I mean, where are you running Ollie Gordon at Oklahoma State for our guy James, the Oak State fan? Those are few and far between. You have to have a true dual threat quarterback or you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And Luke Fickell is going to have that. There is no question. Kyle A., hey, fellas, great work as always. Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate
Good
you, bro.
see you. Aaron Wilson gifted a membership.
Let's go, Aaron.
Let's go. Appreciate that. By the way, Kyle A's been a member for 6 months on the show. Look at you guys. Man, it is so humbling that you guys support our show the way you do. Kyle, a great Utah fan. I appreciate so many of you that support this show. I mean, guys like Salty Drunk who never pay their bets, even though you get that ass whooped, you know, that's fine. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
You do you.
Whatever.
You know. Let's see. Jim R says 12-team playoff. Notre Dame says yes, please. Absolutely. They say yes, please. Mike Smith, when they are in a box, are they covered in something? What?
Okay, what are we talking about here?
Playing man in the box by AIC every time someone gets a penalty. Okay. AAR. You guys are wilding in the comments. Notre Dame and Stanford could pay big NIL deals and players still could flunk out. It's very difficult. It's one of the challenges at Notre Dame. It's very difficult to get kids in there academically. You have to go to mass every day. I mean, being a Notre Dame football player is not easy. Being a BYU athlete is not easy. You know, somebody in our group was talking about the honor code today at BYU. The honor code is not optional, and nor should it be. If you are an institution of faith, which BYU is built on the LDS Church, why on earth would you ever acquiesce, bend, relax the honor code? You never would. You never should. That's not who you are, right? You are a faith-based institution. Be a faith-based institution.
Yeah.
You know, so I just, Notre Dame, Stanford, the educational piece, it is tough to be a student athlete and get through at a lot of universities.
Yeah.
A lot. It's not just Notre Dame. Let's see. Spangler, please don't like Notre Dame. We just like the movie Rudy. Or people don't like. Yeah, nobody likes Notre Dame. Nobody. I don't. Do you know any Notre Dame fans?
No. Oh.
I don't think they have fans. I could be wrong.
Human or non-human?
Yeah, I mean either one. I Notre Dame.
Idiots.
Brandon Butler, Notre Dame is the biggest brand in college football. They get the benefit of the doubt. Okay, well, there's that term again. Benefit of the doubt. Because their games get eyeballs, and that is all that matters to the networks. What does benefit of the doubt mean? I'm curious about that because we're talking about comments from Jack Swarbrick, the athletic director at Notre Dame. And Jack Swarbrick told Ross Dellinger at Sports Illustrated that, quote, we don't have a mechanism to collectively bargain without the student athletes becoming employees. It would require a new mechanism that would recognize the right of student athletes to negotiate for the terms and conditions of their participation as athletes without being employees. Because I think that is well said, because I don't think student athletes want to be employees. I think they want to be paid on scale.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly support them. And I do not support things like NIL caps because I just don't see the need for it.
Yeah, I just don't know why we continue to run from paying kids, man. You should be paid what you earned. It's that simple.
Yeah. NBA Commissioner Salty Drunk, you keep saying comments for members get highlighted in red. No.
No.
Red first, like as in READ. Did you guys see what I deal with?
Dude,
not only does he not pay his debts, Salty
Drunk.
Drunk.
Maybe you should button up the top button, okay? Maybe that's what it is.
Salty Drunk owes us a case of 4X Gold. And I believe the bet was 4X Gold Summer Ale. And he still has not paid it.
Notice how he's trying to tell the creators on this channel what color the comments are and what color members are. Sir.
Come on, man.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
I love you, bro. I needed that.
Mike Smith, Rudy movie, wanted to see Ned Beatty in the crowd squealing instead of clapping. Really? We're going to make a Deliverance reference on the show today. Al Bundy was the best Notre Dame coach ever, Jeff Woodworth says. Okay. You know, it's fine. Was Father Damian Karras, wow, a coach at Notre Dame during the Rudy era? Okay. How did you guys choose which cities are highlighted for the background? It was completely random. The people who designed the graphic did it for. It's about to get rewrapped because you guys are such red asses about how many. Look, man, how many times you're going to put Norman on the wall, asshole? Well, couldn't think of any other cities.
Yeah.
What, Seattle? It's on Seattle's on the wall. Doesn't matter. Norman's on there too many times. What about Kansas City? It's on the wall. Doesn't matter. What about San Diego? It's on the wall too. You know,
it's on the wall.
How about Fort Worth? Where's Fort Worth? It's on the wall. Yeah, but below Norman. Norman's too big. Make it a smaller font.
I doubt that.
You guys lose your mind over Norman on a daily basis on this show.
And he will every single time.
My God. Thank you, Aaron Wilson. Norman. You guys really get.
Do you want us to put tortilla on the wall? Is that what it is? What do you want us to do? Should we put, instead of cities, should we do like Roll Tide? You know, should we do Notre Dame, our mother? Like, is that what you want us to do?
Do you guys understand that that's like a $4,000 bill hanging on the wall right here? I want Norman smaller. I want it moved to the bottom left, and I want Notre Dame, our mother, right in the middle.
Yeah, and do you want them all in red so Salty's happy, or what do we think?
I'm just asking, how come it doesn't say Dallas County, Texas, SMU up there? I don't see SMU. I don't see SMU up there. No, you don't. Sorry.
No, you don't.
You don't. This is wild. Roll on you Bears, says Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
Is Berkeley on the wall? I think Berkeley is somewhere just off camera. It's fine. Mike Smith, I have not seen Morgantown on there, but it could be hidden behind Jake or Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Morgantown's up there. It's up there somewhere. Alex Reyes says, just put Monty on the wall 200-300 times in different fonts. I could do that. $4,000 oversight. Yeah, trust me. And Donuts. What's up, and Donuts? Running Gauchos. Come on, man. Says Iowa City, but not Ames. Ames is on the wall. I'm not going to look for Ames is on the wall.
Yeah,
for sure. Ames is on the wall. 49ers says, where's Honolulu? In 30 days, ask me that because I'll be there. Michael Tamez. Schools should have a universal cap for players to level the playing field. Yet the players should be able to make individual deals away from schools for additional income if they can get it.
But that doesn't level the playing field, because if you play for USC versus Iowa, the USC player is going to make more money. So what do you mean?
Just saying. Stan, how about Stillwater on the wall? It's right there.
Wait, Stillwater? I thought it was Stoolwater.
Oh, Stillwater.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
You're an asshole. Why create problems? Maury Alvarez for $5. Food associated to the school, team, or town should be the wrap. All right, here we go. Live in Tortillaville. Man, you know what I was craving the other night?
Cougar tail?
That's every night. Yeah, see, we couldn't have cougar tail on the wall.
The cack.
No, not putting that on the wall either. That's a felony in some states.
Because it's illegal.
I was craving those street side tortillas from San Diego and Old
Cafe
Town.
Coyote.
Oh my God. Corey Erickson, money, just fix the wall already. Read our minds. The people are always right. Just kidding. Awesome show, guys.
Okay, first of all, if you're gonna say Monty, at least spell it right. Okay. If you're gonna change the name of my guy's name over here, at least spell it right. It's not Money. His name is not Money Parks.
Could be. Gary Wolf, San Diego doesn't need the pro rata they deserve. They already have the biggest font on the wall. I'm just saying. And not one person has bitched about C-Bus yet, and I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. When are we going to get the wall? Should we get it wrapped while like Thanksgiving week or something? Or
yeah, we can look into it. I mean, you want to do a poll? Should we keep it with cities, or should we change it to like stadium names, or what should we do? I mean,
dude,
the
it's
people.
Cash. It's not cheap, you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
We
bro.
have a new redesign already. It looks the same, but all the cities are different. The fonts are changed.
You guys put Norman on the wall 50 times. Yeah, because we tried to put Norman on the wall that many times.
I've told the story. We were in a time crunch, and we have a graphic designer that does all our work, and they were pressed for time. So it was expensive. Journeyman SW Southwest. Monty, to play devil's advocate, why should students who play sports get free college? Just have all the students pay for school.
Because it's a privilege to have Caleb Williams play quarterback for USC instead of Ohio State.
Then why should the TV networks have to pay to put college athletes on their networks?
Like,
I don't like, that's what we're talking about. You have institutions, conferences, and a corporation in the NCAA making billions, and the kids who make them that money get none of that money. They get none of that money. And so we want to say, well, yeah, you guys are making us billions, but yeah, I'm going to limit how much you can make, and you're going to have to pay for your own education. Sorry about that. So wait, let me get this right. We're going to make you billions, and then we're going to go into debt. I don't think so. I think I'm going to go play basketball in Australia or Europe or the G League. Like, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a fight we've had on the show. And Journeyman, you're not the first one who's broached this. We've talked about this so many times, because every time NIL comes up, somebody says, well, the kid should have to pay his tuition then. But nobody has the answer as to why.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those people who says, well, then the kid should have to pay tuition, why? Help me understand that. Are you really telling me that Caleb Williams and his tuition at USC costs USC money in a profit and loss situation? Now, you want to talk about small school, whoever. Okay, that's different. But you look at any Division I FBS program, are you really going to tell me that even Wyoming or Colorado State, smaller schools, Mountain West schools,
yeah,
are you really telling me SMU struggling? They've got the biggest collective this side of,
yeah.
And you're telling me they're struggling? They're not making money? Yes, they are. They're making a ton of money. And yet we should have athletes who make an infinitesimal amount of money next to what the school's making, pay their tuition because now they have the right to make money. I've never understood it. And I want to, and I'm open to the conversation, but I don't get it. I truly do not understand it. Lance Johnson says the kids can play or not. Go to the NFL or sue the NFL if you want, if you're not getting enough. True? Absolutely you can. Mike C. Rodriguez. Why make billions when we can make millions? It's exactly my point. Tarrant County boy, the Okie State. Norman Schwarzkopf. Oh my God. How about a name out of the past? That? Okay. Gumby Fresh Out says, put stripper names on the wall. Yeah, that'll go well with the advertisers. Stan, seriously, Norman is on the wall way too much. I hope that changes with him. I love it. Walls Are Us Inc., Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How did you know?
What?
Yeah. Lincoln Riley is your father.
Yeah, I
Could
don't think
be.
so, sir.
Daniel Dixon, what about sports that don't make money? But that is the whole
It's the
point
essence of NIL.
isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, you look at, and we're talking about women's sports primarily. You look at what Caitlin Clark in Iowa did with the basketball game in the football stadium, or you look at the way that these athletic departments are now being creative about raising money, and you understand that this is why it was so important, for instance, that baseball and softball be added back to the Olympics. You have to give people opportunity. And when you say, okay, well, swimming doesn't make us any money. Do you understand how much money the NCAA, conferences, and universities make on football? It's an obscene amount of money. Like, there's not a scholarship that they can't afford.
Yeah.
It simply is, how much profit do they want to put in their pocket? It's the price of gas, dude. It's the cost of cigarettes. It's beer money. All of those things are just a formula. It's a spreadsheet with a formula. Well, yeah, turn that percentage up a little bit more. We're not making enough profit there. Yeah, the Cavender twins, they're making really good NIL. Yeah, turn their meal money down. Is that really what we're going to do? Man, tell you what, we had to get all new helmets this year. Caleb, we're not going to be able to float that nail polish for you anymore, bud. That just isn't in the
no.
The pivot table for Caleb's nail polish is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's leaning the wrong way here, man.
Is that because that's what's going to happen if we go down that road? There's no perfect system. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not try to pretend there's no perfect system.
Yeah.
No way, shape, or form. Monty, bad glare off your head, sunshade, man. I know. I'm aware. We're working. There it is, right there. Hey. It's the 10 minutes this time of the day. Now it's behind me.